is at Union Square in New York City. That is where the anti-Trump protest is just about to kick off. And Morgan, with a good day to you, what's happening there right now?
Well, Alex, it's already started. In fact, you can see hundreds of people behind me here in Union Square. I want to show you some of the signs and the posters they're holding up here. You can see one here that says, "Acknowledge Trump's hate, protect our public schools, teachers against Trump." You see people that are really saying that this is the time for them to come together. They're trying to say they're being more inclusive, and that's because thousands of people, as you know, Alex, are feeling marginalized by President-elect Donald Trump's comments. And they said this is a love rally.
After they pointed in that direction, they yelled, "We're not going to be tolerating any sexism or homophobia or racism." And that is really the message. All of sort of these protesters coming together, frustrated, angry, and all directed at the president-elect.
Hey, Morgan, can you tell who has organized this rally? It has been suggested that so many of the protests across this country have been impromptu rallies. I mean, it's been supported by a very diverse array of constituents. Is there someone in charge here?
Right now, this is lots of different groups of people who have come together with no necessarily official leader, and that's been some of the criticism. People have said, well, what's the point? Do you have all these disparate groups coming together? But what they're saying is the point is they know they can't change the results of the election because that is in the can, but what they say is they want to come together and show America that love really does win. Alex, I have to say I've covered quite a few protests, from the Black Lives Matter protests, and this is something different. It's something unique. The energy here is electric. I spoke to
that woman when she's saying she's concerned that black people will be shot in the street. Did she back from that at all, or is that a legitimate concern for her? Because that's scary.
Alex, it's not only a legitimate concern for her, it's a legitimate concern for a lot of people who I've spoken to, not only at this protest, but people I've spoken to just in the city. They said they're wondering if this is almost a license to carry in terms of hate.
There are thousands of people right now taking over Fifth Avenue with several messages, all though aimed at our president-elect. We have people talking about being against racism, sexism. You hear Black Lives Matter being yelled. And we, again, are shutting down Fifth Avenue right now, headed straight to Trump Tower. I really quickly want to make a point. The person that organized this protest, a 20-year-old student from St. John University here in New York, and we've seen him several times shaking hands with police officers, talking about what direction they want to go in, how can they go about it peacefully. It is the most organized protest that I've seen happen here in New York City, and that's good news because, again, as he pointed out to me, they want their message to be heard. They don't want violence. We've been seeing across the country in other protests. They do just want their message heard, and they want everyone, even across the country, to know that they are against what Trump ran on, and that is really what their message is collectively.
We're on 35th now, Alex, so we're less than a mile away from Trump Towers, and we're just blocks away from the heart of Times Square. But this crowd started as hundreds when we were in Union Square today. It's grown now to thousands. You're hearing people say things like, "Trump, go away," racist, sexist, anti-gay. They're also saying, "We reject the president-elect." But let's begin with our Bryn Gingras, who's in New York. Bryn, you've been out there for a few hours. This was a planned march. What are the protesters calling for specifically? What do they want to see happen?
You know, there really isn't a specific thing that they're calling for, Poppy. It is really a number of messages all wrapped into one, aiming at the president-elect, Donald Trump. Messages about stopping the hate, messages about supporting gays, about women, about climate change, about paying taxes. I mean, there are just a number of messages being spread here. This group, I can tell you collectively what everyone has been agreeing on, especially, is how big of a protest this is. I mean, let's get a bigger view of how many people are here. We are just a block away from Trump Tower. This is where the group wanted to end up with their protest. They marched for about 2 miles, only taking about an hour to do that, and it's just enormous. I actually have been texting with the person, a 20-year-old college student here in New York City who organized this protest. I've been texting with him and I said, are you impressed with the size? And he says it's amazing what the collective voices can spread in this protest. And that's really what it's about, is being heard, and that's what they want.
There are thousands of people out here right now. The crowds have not slowed down. We've been following since they left at 12:30 this afternoon from Union Square. And people out here, they're chanting, they're banging the drums, and they're explaining that they do not want Donald Trump to be their next president. In fact, I'm here with Kristen and her partner Mariah. Kristen, why did you come out today?
Yeah, so I think we're both out here just to voice our dissent, show some solidarity with the minorities that are being targeted across the country, and just...
Do you feel like you're being targeted?
We actually have already been targeted, hearing racial slurs, misogynistic slurs in the city. I have Muslim friends that have had their hijabs pulled off of their heads, so I've definitely seen it even in the most liberal city in the world right here in New York.
Poppy, I can only tell you, I think it's only gotten bigger as we've gone into these nighttime hours. For 2 hours, protesters started at 14th Street and have made their way up about 2 miles right to practically the doorstep of Trump Tower. And I'm thinking at least 10,000 people have been out here really delivering a message to Donald Trump, and that is that they will not tolerate a campaign that he ran on, a campaign they say fueled by hate.